Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the episode of Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. This is actually an exclusive because I'm excited because we know that this month is Black History Month. And guess what? To Talbot County, Maryland, we have a lot of shore shooters of our American abolitionist, Frederick Douglass. And tonight, my special guest, Mr. Darius Wallace, will be portraying him on the 18th of February. So welcome, Darius. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Michelle. Thanks for having me on. And it's actually pronounced Darius.
Darius. Okay,
Yeah.
let me get this right.
It's,
Darius.
the word's confusing. It's okay because it's spelled like Darius, but I just pronounce it differently. That's all. It's Darius. So.
Darius. I'm
Mhm.
gonna get it before the show's over with. So everybody give me some apples up when I get it right. Darius. Okay, Darius Wallace. Sorry, Darius.
That's
So
okay.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to have you here because you know what? You are a first as an actor,
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
writer, and
Yeah.
producer because you got many hats here. You have many hats you're wearing here. And
How
we're
about
going to get right into it because I don't want to get your time because I don't want to take you away from that role of that acting that you have to portray. So I know it takes a lot of rest and everything with that as well. So,
sure?
Darius, how
hmm
did you get started in this industry of theater? Can you explain that? Because I know some people have the gift. Now, when did you realize that you had this gift?
Well, I realized that I wanted to do it when I was a little boy, to be honest. I was fortunate to have a desire for what I love to do when I was very, very small. My father took me to go see a Bruce Lee movie. And I ended up wanting to be just like Bruce Lee at the time. And I found out he was a child actor. And so made me want to be an actor. And then as I grew up, I started to fall in love with Sidney Poitier and loved how he was portrayed, how Black people were portrayed, because you didn't see much of that when I was growing up. And Sidney Poitier, watching his old films was something that I loved. And then, of course, it shifted to Howard Rollins and Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes and Samuel Jackson. Also, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. I had all these different actors that had a heavy influence on me. Cicely Tyson, Meryl Streep, and the list just goes on and on. And so I wanted to go to school for acting. Went to Interlochen Arts Academy, which is a high school performing arts. Then went away to SUNY Purchase Theater Art School in New York. Then I wasn't sure if I wanted to be an actor anymore, and I was home in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, where I'm from, and got the bug again at about 20 years old, and had my first. I got kicked out of my house by my father, and I had to make my way. Started to rent a room, and at the same time I started to rent a room, I got my first acting role as Caliban in Shakespeare's *The Tempest*. And then from there, I wrote a one-person show on Malcolm X, and started to work with different children's theaters and toured Malcolm X around the country and turned into Martin Luther King. And then years later, wrote a one-person show on Frederick Douglass. And between that and theater and film and television, I've just been going at it since then for about almost 30 years now.
Wow, and that shows that you don't give up on your dreams.
That's right. That's right.
You go right into the opposition and you take it head on. And I commend you for that, Darius, because I'll give you a little bit about me as well. I turned 50, we always had that bucket list of stuff that we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been writing, I've been singing all my life. So at the age of 50, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make a single or something. So
Yeah.
I did it. And now I
Oh,
have
wow.
an album out. So,
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
that's one thing you got to do. You got to follow after your dream. If you know
Yeah.
it's that inch, you have to follow after your dream. So,
That's beautiful.
I did it. So I tell everyone when I hear stuff like that, I always buzz into that. They're like, you never give up on your dreams, no matter what the opposition, like you had to get out on, your father kicked you out. So
Yeah.
yeah. But hey, it happens. It happens. But you know,
He-
following after your dream. You following after your
yeah,
dream.
and I kind of joke around about that. He was right. It was time for me to get on up. But my father's been very, very, all my life supportive of me. And he wanted me to find my way. And I did. And, my father showed up um, and to my first performance, professional performance. And I was very proud to see my father there. And my father was very proud to be there. So, it was a good thing. He said, Darius, I'm proud of you.
And you know, you got a lot of stuff out here. So, people, we're going to put it out there to you where to find some of the work. You might want to come on down here to the shore on February the 18th. He will be in full flash, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on about the Frederick Douglass. So, we are happy to have you come into the area. So, my next question for you, Darius, is there takes a lot of skills when you're portraying these various roles, and we'll go into a little bit later on further in the interview, because you said some places that you have been, you just got back. Now for your upcoming role for Frederick Douglass, and I know you said you did this, what has been your strongest skill?
You mean as Frederick Douglass, or just
Yes.
as Frederick Douglass? Um, I believe channeling the spirit of Frederick Douglass in me as I portray Frederick Douglass. We really only know what he sounded like based on what has been written. Terrence actually gave me some more insight that technically we've always heard that Frederick Douglass has a baritone voice like mine. That my voice would probably be something like what Frederick Douglass's voice may have been, but he seems to suggest that there have been also writings where Frederick Douglass's voice was higher, that he had a high pitched, voice. And it could be that in person, he may have spoken his lower register voice, but back in those days, there were no mics and they spoke
Exactly.
high. So he may have had to, make his voice higher in order to reach the audience because there were no mics back during that time, and they spoke in big open, fields and so forth. And in reading about Frederick Douglass, sensing him from his words, I would say channeling Frederick Douglass, and then I change into different characters when I do my other Frederick Douglass performance. So channeling the characters also that influenced his life, I think would be my strongest point.
Hey, you got to challenge it. Now, I know you take studying, studying up, because actually Talbot County, a lot of people don't know that, that's where he actually grew up, in on one of the plantation farms. And I've actually had the pleasure of being there as a child and did not recognize this until this Frederick Douglass stuff came on. My father worked on that plantation for 48 years.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, the family is like family, the Tillmans who own the Y plantation now. I can
hmm,
remember being on those grounds as a little girl with my mother and my father. Both my parents worked there as domestic workers in that house.
oh
Had
wow,
no clue. Had
yeah,
no clue that Frederick Douglass was there. Not until I got older. That was history. That why is it so important that we share this history with our children?
yeah,
That I walked the grounds that Frederick Douglass walked down, and
yeah,
it's so impactful for me. And then when Terrence picked this project up, that's why I love helping him with this project and getting that word out. Um,
yeah,
it's very exciting just to know that history is there, and that I've been walking on the grounds where that history. And I know we have the slavery stuff that goes on, but just a
hmm,
piece of that, I look at it as that's where we were, but now look where we're going.
right. That's right. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're creating our new destiny.
New destiny, most definitely. So, in your upcoming performance, again, as we say, you're portraying Frederick Douglass. What has been the preparation process? because I know, like you said, the challenging the person, channeling in on that. Have you toured those grounds yet?
I have actually, not officially. I mean, not in other words, not in an organized way. I actually about maybe a decade or well, it was 2011. 2011, I was touring my Frederick Douglass to schools, and
Okay.
when I'm touring, I've toured all over the country for years, and so when I'm on my tour schedule, I'm just kind of in a rhythm. I'm not even thinking. So I'm getting up. I'm in Maryland. I'm getting up the next day. I'm going to my next school, and I didn't have the navigation system in those days. I just saw, take this expressway, okay, drive through here, blah blah blah. So I'm driving. I'm just headed to the school, and then suddenly I see Talbot County. I'm like, wait a minute, this is where Frederick Douglass was. And then so I'm driving, like, oh wow, I'm in the Talbot County. And then I look see where the school is to get my final directions. It's like Easton. No, that couldn't be possible. I couldn't be doing the school. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, it was a school in Easton. Did the show, finished up. I said, hey, where is Tuckahoe close by? And so they told me how to get to Tuckahoe. So I went there and walked around. I know it's a suburb now, but I walked around, and then I came back and came to the library there in Easton and saw the bridge that was dedicated to him. And I know there's a whole lot more to see, but that was basically the gist of my tour of the town at that time. But yeah,
Yeah, you have to come to the Y Plantation. That's where the
I would
ships,
love.
the water. Yeah, you have to come there. So we have to
Yeah,
hook up and let you know, because I personally have to call Richard and his wife
yeah,
um, for that. So maybe when you get here, I don't know if they're on, because they usually leave a lot. They're on vacation a lot. So that'll be something that we can do while you're
yeah.
here on the 18th. I don't know how long you got to stay, but maybe I can check into that. I can check into that and send you that. But we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, you're going to hear more from this phenomenal man in his acting, producing, and his writing skills. We'll be right back. So hold on and we'll be right to you. Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, Soul, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond, and I am here with actor, writer, producer Darius. Wow.
Darius.
Darius. Darius. Oh.
It's all right. Right, it's fine.
And I was like, I got it in my head.
Had
Darius.
it. Yeah.
He's like, okay. When this woman gonna get it right? But anyway,
Yeah.
we're back. So Darius, we know. I just said before we took the break, you got an exclusive many talents here: writer, producer, actor. So, how can the audience find some of your works?
Um, they can find it on YouTube. They can also on IMDb to see my film and television work, and also my website, storyspirestudios.com. They can find it there. And I wanted to make a point too. The show actually is like I have an original Frederick Douglass show, but this one is going to be a little different, a little newer in that it's going to include um, excerpts of Nat Turner, uh,
Mm.
Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, among other characters that's going to pop up. And it's going to be somewhat of interaction between these characters in understanding what to do for true freedom. So they won't all be interacting at the same time, but this moment with Frederick Douglass and Nat Turner, Frederick Douglass and Lincoln, Frederick Douglass and John Brown, and then Malcolm X and Martin Luther King in the second half of the performance. And in between, I won't be doing this character, but there'll be a Harriet Tubman portrayal in between. So it's going to be sort of a collage of performing.
Pioneers.
Yeah, that night. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. But what was your question again? All right.
So that's fine. That's fine. Look, we totally organic here. People love you when you're more organic here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, again, you're talking about that's your acting, but you also write. You also write too. So
yeah.
that's I would love to see some of that work.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the shows that I do, I've written. There's a a movie I did a long time ago called 100 Lives. It's on Amazon that I wrote. I do spoken word, which some of that will be in the performance too. And most of what I've written that's out there's a new show that I have called My Words Are My Sword. It had its premiere last year, just did another performance about a month ago. And that is a show that I've also written. So most of what I've written has come out through performances. And this year is the year where I'm going to actually start to put it out for publication. So.
Okay. And it's a lot of theater work, I see, because you're based in Memphis, correct?
This Atlanta, I go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the booming filming places, little cute little filming places. They are. I've actually been to a couple in Atlanta, and I've also been to Orpheum Theater.
Orpheum Theater.
Yeah, Orpheum Theater in Memphis. I love downtown in Memphis. Anyway, it's very nice, little cute little place. So the next question. Darius, what would you tell your younger self today from your experiences now?
I would say, what are you so afraid of? What are you waiting on? What are you so afraid of? What are you waiting on? And it's okay to take risks and make mistakes and fall. It's okay to have setbacks. It's okay to have struggles that in the end you're going to get there anyway, but you just got to keep going. So in my past, I spent a lot of time not knowing what decision to make, being afraid, worried about making mistakes, making the wrong decision. And so I would tell myself, what are you afraid of? Go ahead and jump out, do it, take a risk. Do it now. You're going to be fine.
That's the key. That's what I live by. You got to take the risk. You won't know it won't happen unless you try it. So that is it. So in your acting role, where can we might find you blitzing on when we turn on the boob tube, as they say, the boob tube? What are some of the shows that we might see you on?
Well, I've been on Tyler Perry's Sisters. I've been on Law and Order SVU. There's a film that's out. I think it started streaming today. I can't remember the name of the film right now. It'll come to me in a minute. I can't think of it. It'll come to me, but there's a film called The World We Make, which is on Netflix. And I've been on shows like Nashville. That's streaming now, ABC show, but it ended maybe 2-3 years ago. And a movie called Nothing But the Truth. To name a few.
Yeah, see?
No vacancy. That's
no vacancy.
I actually filmed that movie a couple of years ago, and it's now finally got distribution. So that comes out today. So that's on Amazon and Apple TV as of today. No vacancy. And there's a movie out that's in the can. It's coming out. That's in the can. I don't know that it has distribution yet, but it's called Queen Rising.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
I
then there's a
like
movie called Damaged Goods.
Okay. I'm gonna have to write these down. We got to write these down and get this. Yeah. So yeah, I might watch a little bit on Netflix and stuff like that. But yeah, so watch that.
Yeah.
Well, again, Darius, it has been wonderful having you here. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I know to come to here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. I really appreciate, and I can't wait to see you on the 18th. I will be in the building, so
Oh,
we're gonna
great.
say, hey,
Yeah.
I will be in the building on the 18th. So,
I,
and I will make sure I check into that about going to the Y plantation for you.
Oh, that'd be great. And then maybe, if you're interested, after you see the show, maybe we could think about down the road doing another, podcast, maybe to talk about what you saw.
It's always open here. We are open here. I love people. That's just like one. That's like one of my natural gifts. A lover of people, and I did a little acting in school too.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Great.
A little acting in school as well too, but I don't know. Maybe one day. I don't know. That might come. I don't know. So
would you be?
I'll always into myself in doing some Billie Holiday stuff and some Mahalia Jackson stuff.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to. We've had, I don't want to leave off without naming. We had a tragedy, horrific tragedy here in Memphis,
Yes.
with Tyrese Nichols, and I want to, just name that in remembrance of him, his art. He was a beautiful photographer, seemed to be a beautiful human being, and just wanted to name it and to name Ashe to his name. And please remember him, remember his family in prayers. And I just wanted to make that known. So
I thank you because I actually was going to ask that question. So you went right into it. See, you reading me through the screen here. You reading me through the screen. I actually was going to say that prayers for that family and for the people of Memphis. And for those of us who have watched it nationally, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. It's got to start. Again, we had these elections. We got to make sure we holding these people accountable that we put into these offices too, as well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It's just not holding them accountable for these things that goes on. I'm all for police. But that this is something national that has to start back through the police academy, because there is no way that those gentlemen should have been police officers. And there's some underlying, because I'm a mental health person, so there are some underlying conditions that a lot of people are going through, traumas that they really gonna have to start debriefing the mental parts inside of that. Are you physically, mentally fit to go out here and be a product of the law? So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different story there. That's a whole different story. We might have to team up on that one, but that's a whole different story there. But yeah, thank you for that, Darius.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So Darius, we almost to the end. I'm sorry about that, but I'm sorry because it like I could talk forever. But you were saying something earlier about the struggle and giving up. You must, like I say, you must be seeing my notes. Because we haven't even talked before this, but we just like text or phone. But could you give one inspirational, or maybe a few inspirational words for that person who may be that struggling writer, struggling producer, and a struggling actor that is having the challenges of the growth
Sure. Yeah, I would say that yes, we're in an industry that we're walking in the unknown a whole lot. As a matter of fact, Frederick Douglass, when he left the plantation, he says, "I'm walking in the dark where there is no light." So sometimes we're walking in the dark where there is no light, but there is light at the very end. As Frederick Douglass took that risk and found his freedom, we can also walk in that darkness to get to the light, to our dreams. And a lot of it has to do with belief in yourself that you've been put here for a purpose, and that purpose is embodied in your desire. So if you have a desire to do it, that means you're meant to do it. And yes, there's going to be challenges. There's going to come up. Yes, it's going to feel at times like nothing is happening. But if you can hold on to one, your belief in yourself and your faith in yourself and what you do, if you have a higher power, your belief in your higher power. And then after that, you can go to work in your mind, in your imagination. You actually can build your future in your imagination, where you can visualize and see yourself where you really want to be, being who you want to be, doing what you want to do, and having what you want to have. The more you visualize it, the more you're going to feel it, the more you're going to speak it, and before you know, you'll be manifesting it. And in the meantime of visualizing and imagining, preparation. So it's healing to just be practicing and working on your craft and getting better and better at it, because the door will open. And when it opens, you want to be ready to walk through with everything you got. So I would say keep at it, believe in yourself, work on it, imagine, use your imagination, visualize, and you'll manifest it.
Wow. That's the second time today and I heard that word manifesting. So that's something
Yeah,
for me as well.
great.
Manifested it. Yeah. This is the year. If you want to manifest your things, bring them to you, manifest your things. Right. Put it out there. Put it out there and work on it. Don't give up on it. So again. All right, Darius, I really do appreciate you for coming on here, spending the time this afternoon and this evening with here in Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. And listen to the ones who are watching. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight and sharing this exit. So if you haven't got your tickets, please go purchase your tickets because he will be here in Talbot County, Maryland on February the 18th, portraying Frederick Douglass. And outside of that, there is also going to be a life-size vision of a statue. And I mean, that thing looks real. I saw it. It looks really real. It looks just like him. So it's some great things happening. I'm glad to be a part of it. Just a little girl from the country, just a little girl from the country, just doing these things. So hey, it is what it is.
I think look it up at Operation Frederick Douglass, and I know that the show will be at the Avalon Theater,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they Operation for Frederick Douglass. So
Yes, that's correct. Yes, that is correct. So again, thank you so much for coming
thank you.
on tonight. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you and talking more
Yeah,
with you. All right,
yeah.
everyone. This is my mantra that I have at the end of the show. If no one has told you that you are loved, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. Until next week, Michelle Bolden Hammond signing out.
See you guys.